Hi folks! So it's another test. The last week we tried this, I had my brother Buddy sitting in this chair right here, talking about his album and all the fun thing he's been doing with this new thing he's done on, he's doing on Facebook. Look it up, it's called Song from the Den, D-E-N, a song from the den. And he just does one song a week, and a lot of times they're originals that he's written, other times it's cover songs. But it's kind of a cool scene the way he does it. The lighting's kind of dark, you can see his silhouette. It's kind of cool the way he does it. So I'm digging deep for material right now just to be able to talk long enough to check this equipment. We're going to do at least 30, maybe 45 minutes of nothing but me. So you guys are stuck with me tonight. I might bring Dan Hughart up here in a few minutes just to see what he's been doing and just keep some talk going on. I might sing a song. That would just be to kill 2 or 3 minutes. And so I bought some new equipment. I bought some new connectors. I bought some new wires. We had Spectrum out here the other day, and they did a whole big check and gave me some new equipment. So anyway, a couple of the last shows had little glitches in them. Now, the last few weeks, if you want to see the shows really cool, Dan Hugart's been recording the show while we go live on Sundays. He brings up his equipment and he records everything, and then he puts it on like Monday night or Monday afternoon. He'll upload it to YouTube. So the same show that you're seeing on Facebook right now that might have a couple little glitches in it, if you go to YouTube and look it up, you'll see that show with no glitches, nothing. And he even does a little mixing thing because he mics everything. So the tracks even, the back track even to me sounds better than the Facebook track. But they all sound great. I mean, we're just up here having fun. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. So Kim, my beautiful daughter, said let's meet and do like a 30, 40 minute thing and let it run. And then we got to review it and make sure that it's not glitching. Now, Kim, you haven't noticed any glitches yet, right?
Nope.
Not so far, okay. And we are hardwired in. We're not on Wi-Fi anymore, right?
Right.
Okay, we're switching from the Wi-Fi system to plug in the cord and go to the hard system. And we're trying another computer. So, this thing is forever evolving. Things keep coming up. This May, what is this? March, April, next week is going to be April. And then May 20th is technically our 4th full year doing this show. And for a little background check, it was during COVID, and I had called Paul Marshall and Gary Swan and Jere McWhorter, my good friend, and I said, everybody's locked up in their homes. It might be a good time to do a little country show. And I remember the first show we did I did it at my shop, my upholstery shop. Now I'm in a building where I've got a little more room. So we do this at the upholstery shop, and I went out that week. I started it on a Monday, and I started getting some equipment together and things I think I'd need. And I called my niece, Sterling, who's just a lovely, lovely girl with 2 beautiful children and a great husband. And I said, find me a country backdrop. I just want to hang something up to make it look country. And she came up with this backdrop, and I've been using the same backdrop now for 4 years. I just love it. It's got like guitars and wagon wheels and an accordion, and so, it turned out pretty good. And then we came up with the name Carmine's Country Corner, and then we've been doing it ever since. And we did it out of the garage. It was a lot of fun, and people were digging it. They were stuck at home Sunday night, so hey, let's go to Carmine's Country Corner. It was live. It was raw.
Who was on the first show? Who were the players?
Well, the players on the first show were Jere McWhorter, drums, Paul Marshall, of course, on bass. He's been there all the time. Gary Swan on piano, and me. It was a 4-piece there. I had my brother Buddy, who was playing acoustic and singing. He did the first so many weeks or months, and then we just started bringing him in and out. So the main band was Gary, Paul, Jere McWhorter, and me. Well, about a year and a half ago, Jere McWhorter left us, and John Palmer was nice enough to come in and do it. And so now he's been the drummer for about a year and a half. And anytime John's got a gig, my backup has been Dan Hughart. He's done it almost as many times as Palmer's done it. So Dan is between Palmer, Dan Hughart, you know, Gary, Paul. Gary left us for a while. I had Jimmy Eaton on steel, and Jimmy did a great job. I love steel guitar, but when Gary sings so good, and I just love his attitude. So when he wanted to come back, we made a little switch. Jimmy, you know I love you, and I love your wife, Cari. You guys are great. And in fact, I gotta have him back up here.
Yeah.
Oh, this Sunday we will not be doing a show because of Easter. We're gonna respect that whole thing because I'm Catholic, so I would do that. And but all us Christians out there, we're gonna celebrate Easter, and so we won't have a show. I'll just have Kim put up a rerun or something. What else was I gonna say? Ta-da! Oh yeah, week after Easter, the following week, Jere Mendelsohn is going to be our guest artist. Jere works all over town. I've known Jere forever. He used to be a school teacher for years, and since he retired from school teaching, he says now I get to play, you know, because he's not doing that day job and all that responsibility he had, trying to teach lovely children how to get smart or how to learn something. But he's really a cool guy. Those of you who know, Dan, stop laughing at what I'm saying because I'm trying to be nice, okay?
He gave up on the kids.
Yeah, he sure did. But anyway, so Jere, I talked to Jere yesterday, and we decided the week from, I think it's the 21st of
April.
April. Yeah, it's
That's your 4-year mark almost. You said the 20th.
20th of May.
Oh, May. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be the following month.
All right.
Gee, is that the 21st? Is
Here,
it?
let me
But
see.
no, that can't be right.
I'll look right now. Hold on.
Kim, what is this weekend? Easter Sunday is what?
Is the 31st?
Of March.
31st.
Yeah.
So you should be
So
back
we have
on.
April 7th after that, and then April 14th.
April 7th. We're not doing the show April 7th because of Susie's birthday. My wife Susie is going to be 75 years old, and I'm working Knott's Berry Farm on that Saturday night. We're having a little Knott's Berry Farm party with all the Knott's Berry Farm people. They're great people. And then Sunday we got I'm taking her to dinner. Do a big thing on Sunday.
Okay, so no show on the 14th.
No show on Easter or on the 7th.
And then so Jerry's coming the 14th
The 14th, I believe.
or the 21st.
One or the other. You know what? I'm getting my dates mixed up. I think he's here on the 21st,
Okay.
not the 14th. But anyway, with all that said, we'll figure it out. So I got a little lost there. So I'm only holding this because I don't know why I'm holding this. I'm just holding it. It's like a security. It's like my pacifier. Dan, you want to come up and give me any information you got, or just to burn up some time? Come on up. Folks,
I had to bring my phone in case somebody calls me.
well,
Something important.
we answer the phones. You know, I told everybody in the band years ago that Carmine's Country Corner, if you get a phone call, if it rings during the show, no, maybe not in the middle of a song, but between songs, if the phone goes off, I don't care, the drummer, the bass player, me, answer the phone.
I dressed up for the show.
Well, wait, I guess so did I. Look at this shirt, country. I even got buttons on.
This is my uniform.
You look great. Now, Dan is really been working hard on getting this show smooth and clean and helping me every way he can. And so I really appreciate your help. I mean, don't think I don't, because everybody around here knows more than I do about this stuff. I don't know too much about it. You know, I can go on YouTube, I can put it on, but man, it's tough. I'll tell you.
Yeah, the technical issues have just been really hard to figure out.
It's unbelievable. So, but maybe tonight we're going to have it figured out.
Maybe.
So far, so
We're going to
Maybe.
find out. How many minutes are we into this?
We're in 9.5 minutes.
Well, Nina, and you haven't noticed a glitch? Well, see, folks,
Nice
I want
to see.
all out there, say a little prayer, give me a good thought. Don't forget to push the, if you're, oh no, you're not watching this on YouTube yet because when it's not on
Like
YouTube.
and subscribe, everyone.
What?
Like and
Well, do you like and subscribe on Facebook? Is it that a like and share?
I think you just like
And share,
and
right?
you can share, yes.
Yeah, like and share on Facebook.
Let's
And
see,
on YouTube, what do? You like and subscribe?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I was thinking about, I just thought of this like last night. If we put the Facebook link, no, if we put the YouTube link on Facebook, then people go to the YouTube link and they're on YouTube, then they could subscribe on YouTube because
Yes.
that's where they're watching it.
I see.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense to anybody? Anyway,
I
we're going to try to link everything every which way so you can't go wrong.
We're
but
building an empire here.
We're trying. We've built a pretty good one. I have quite a few followers now, and the hits every week, the viewers are coming up, and we just love doing it. I mean, Paul and I, every week, and Gary, we just want to come play, and Palmer, and my daughter is so good about coming up every Sunday, and she either works with Dan every other week on the technical stuff. Dan's here every other week, and on Dan's off week, it's TomPaul Wilson, who also gets up and performs with us, and he's a great guy. He's so knowledgeable, and he's so much fun. Yes, I love Tom.
But I do come here every week.
You are here pretty much every week
Yeah.
now.
Unless something happens.
Yeah, like maybe you can go make some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a small thing
Yeah, like this
that.
Sunday, I've got an actual paying gig.
Are you kidding? What are you
Yeah.
working in the restaurant?
I'm at. Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
kidding.
I've been working in Knott's Berry Farm too. The only trouble I'm
You sell
having
the blueberries.
is that I can't get that blue stuff off my fingers.
Boysenberry pies.
They got me out there picking blueberries and.
Hey, I'll tell you a
awful.
funny Knott's Berry Farm story. So
Okay.
it's that a couple of years ago. I go to Knott's Berry Farm now. It was a very cold winter. And I was working back then like 3-4 nights a week, 5 nights a week. They were giving us a lot of work. Now they've cut the entertainment back since they merged with Six Flags. Cedar Farms merged with them, which is Knott's Berry Farm. And so they've cut us down to a few nights a week. But they say it's going to come back, but they're in the middle of business stuff, whatever it is. Anyway, a couple of years ago, so I asked the engineer, because they give us a sound engineer that does all the sound for us and everything. I said, hey, can I bring a little heater, just a small one, and I want to plug it in and just put it, to get some kind of heat, because it's cold,
Yeah.
my hands are freezing. He says, it was a lady, Chris, her name's sweet girl. She says, oh, that should be okay, yeah, bring it. So I go back the next night, not a big heater, little heater, plug it in my amp, got my amp, my guitar. We're sitting down on this gig, sometimes we stand, sometimes we sit. I take the heater, I position it right where it's kind of coming up on my guitar, where it's going to be a little warmer than it has been, and so it's our first set. And we said, Johnny Blankenship is working with me on it. It's just a duo, just the two of us. So he starts singing the song, and we're playing, and all of a sudden the whole stage goes dark. All the electricity goes out, not just for us. There's a whole patio with lights on it with a whole bunch of people watching. The whole patio goes dark, and there's some poor guy about 15 feet from the stage. He's got a little cash register, a computer, and he sells these little leather wristbands, and he puts your name on it for him from Knott's Berry Farm. And his computer's down. He's completely out of business for a while because the people are standing in line, and his computer's not working, and his cash register won't open. All the electricity's gone. So right away we realized it was the heater. Shouldn't use the heater. So Johnny, who's done quite a bit of construction, says, well, the breaker box got to be right behind the stage or right here. So we're looking around behind the stage and under this and that, and it's nothing. And we call the office, and the breaker switch for where we are at the Fireman's Barbecue, the breaker switch for that is over by the roller coaster, which is like almost a football field away. And that's how far. And we're just sitting there in the dark, and this guy's, excuse me folks, he's going through the crowd. walking over there. He popped, all of a sudden the lights come on. Well, needless to say, I didn't get to use my heater anymore. But I did call the main office. I had an idea. I said, listen, you know when our shows are. You know, you got the schedule. And we only do 20-minute sets. We do like 4 or 5 songs, we're done. Then we wait, and we come back later and do some more. So I said, that 20 minutes, it's not that long. I said, why don't you, for just that 20 minutes, just don't run the roller coaster so I could have my heater. And but they didn't go for that.
I wonder why. So next time, what you do is you bring a little hibachi, some charcoal.
I love that. See, why didn't I think of that?
And some lighter fluid.
There you go. Have a little
hibachi there.
Yeah, nice and hot, cold. That might work. I didn't even think about that.
Well, I had a similar heater experience.
What happened?
I was doing a gig in December, an outdoor gig in December.
You got a lot.
Which is like, why people do this, I don't know. But anyway, it was with Henry Becker. It was over in Sun Valley.
How long ago was this?
Oh God,
years ago.
15
okay.
years.
Oh, I thought maybe he was still around.
So I brought my space heater, one of those radiant heaters.
Yeah.
And I was playing drums, and I'm wearing blue jeans, and I put the heater about as far away as like your right leg. So I'm doing the job. I got home, and my leg was burned right through my blue jeans by that heater, but I was warm.
Yeah, but your leg was all red.
Yeah, it was all red. Right through like Levi's blue jeans. Just.
Well, I'll tell you, folks. I struggle. My hands are warm naturally. I always have warm hands. But I've had a few nights doing outside gigs like you have. Once your hands get cold, you're not warming them up the rest of that night. They're not going to come. You can put them in your pocket. You can put them on a heater. It ain't the same. So I'm very careful at Knott's to, I bring gloves and stuff because my hands have got to stay warm. It's just too hard to play without it. Anyway, I don't know how long or how boring that was, but how much time do we have now, Kim?
It's been 17 minutes and almost 30 seconds.
And no glitch yet.
Nothing. Perfect.
Well, we might as well.
Might as well, what, you got an idea?
Well, I'm searching. It's like, you don't know what's going on in here.
No. Okay, so I'm going to say hi to a few people. I'm going to say hi to my good friend in North Carolina and his lovely wife, Kathy, Don McGinnis, and a lot of you people out there know Don McGinnis.
Wait a minute. Are we going to go through all 50 states?
We might. I know everybody in all 50 states. I know people in Europe. I know people like we all do. We know people everywhere. Huh?
Say hi to Pamela Sands. She says she hopes to see you at Not Soon.
You will, Pam? Did you say Pam?
Mickey Cox, Pamela. Her name's
Yeah.
Pamela.
Pamela,
Mickey
thanks.
Cox says hello.
Oh, Mickey, we love you. We were talking about you the other night with Ann and Susie and I, and we were talking about the family, and your name came up.
And,
So nice to hear you.
Peggy
Nice.
Price.
Who?
Peggy Price sends hearts.
Oh, thank you, Peggy. We love you. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. It's just, we're just sitting here just letting the equipment warm up and run, so we're going to find out whether it's
Well, you know,
good or bad.
our esteemed pianist last week.
Oh, yes.
He had to have the heater.
Yeah.
And,
What happened there?
well, of course, I had to set it up for him. 'Cause he's all about, if he's not doing this,
Yeah,
it's
right.
like, help me, somebody help me. So anyway,
Gary's
I was
falling
wondering,
all over.
okay, I'm going to set this heater up. I don't know what's going to happen.
Gary is so great. I mean, he's been such a good friend to me. I met him in North Hollywood about 15 years ago, maybe longer, at a place called Michael's. Now, Michael's was a real dive. I'm going to tell you the kind of place it was. It was very friendly, but it was not in the best of neighborhoods, over by Oxnard and Lancashire. You know, that area. It's okay, but it's not like, you know.
Yeah.
So Steve Hunter, our good friend drummer, who
Right.
has since passed away a few years ago, Steve and I were very close, and Steve was the drummer. So he was helping me in my upholstery shop, working with me to make some extra money for him and his lovely wife Dee Dee, and so we were hanging out quite a bit together. Well, he says, you know, down at Michael's, I'd like to deaden that stage somehow. It's too bright. You know, things are bouncing around. And so he said, maybe we can get some old foam that I pulled off from old cushions for people to come in and we can like make some baffles. I said, okay, so here's what he ended up doing. This was all Steve. I just loved it. And the owner of the joint, the owner of the place never said a word.
He was probably in shock.
Well, you know what? Watch what he did. I had done a job on about a 60-foot boat, and up in the bow area are these curved 4 or 5 inch thick foam, kind of curved big cushions up in the sleeping area that kind of fit the hull of the boat. So they're kind of like this, and cut down the middle, and there's 2 of them, almost triangle shaped, but curved because they got to fit the hull of the boat. And they were like, 40 inches wide each and over 6 feet long, and they came to kind of a point. Anyway, so I had to make new ones. Well, he said, can I have the old ones? I said, yes. And there were a couple of others too. But he took them with these big long drywall screws and took the electric gun, and he went and screwed the screws right through the cushions on the wall of the stage. So now when you're standing watching us play, there's these 2 big boat cushions screwed to the wall, and the owner, whose name was Michael, very nice man, treated us great. I don't even think he noticed, but Hunter was so funny. Give it that. He was up there screwing this thing, and I thought, the guy's gonna throw us out of here. Now he'll be okay. Don't worry about it. For all I know, they're still there. So anyway, and that's where I met Gary Swan, was at Michael's.
Okay.
Wow. I was talking about Gary first, and I went into the
you've
Steve Hunter job.
So you've got these big pieces of foam rubber, probably with
Well, they were covered with the old fabric. They were still covered with
so
fabric.
So it's not showing stains all over them?
No, they weren't that bad.
Okay.
This is an expensive boat. These people take care of their stuff. He just wanted to change
Sometimes
color.
the fish jump in the boat and they leave stains.
This wasn't that kind of a boat. This was kind of like a yacht. You don't really fish in this boat too much. You go to Hawaii with it if you want. There's big 100
Oh, it's a yacht. So
a big one.
You use a yacht, you go buy fish.
Yeah. You don't fish either. No,
Yeah.
it's not a fishing boat.
You tell
Anyway.
the fish, I'm going to give you $100.
Yeah.
Jump in the boat.
Jump on the boat.
Sounds good.
Anyway, so I've done some interesting boats. I can tell you, like one of them is called the Entertainer, and there's a company in Newport Beach, and a lot of you people have heard about this company called Hornblower Yachts.
I've done gigs on those.
Yes, and I have too. And one of the boats they own is called the Entertainer, and it's 151 feet long, and it's got 3 decks. It's a big party boat.
Wow.
Well, I did a whole bunch of work on that, but better than that, they own the Wild Goose, which was John Wayne's boat.
Okay.
And that's an old minesweeper from the 40s,
Okay.
which means the hull's all wood, because minesweeper from the
Oh, I
house.
see.
And it's 137 feet long. Now, I knew that boat back in 1965, 66 when I was with the Mickey Rooney Jr. Band, because we had met John Wayne and his wife Pilar, and I kind of knew his kids back in the mid-60s, all into the 70s. So I knew that boat, because even though I hadn't been on it, I would always see it parked out in front of the house in Newport, at John Wayne's place and stuff. Well, now years later, Hornblower buys it. Now I'm doing work for them for now over 30 years. I said, man, you guys bought the Wild Goose. They said, yeah, it's coming in next week or something. So I've done all kinds of work on that boat, and I remember that boat so well. And they added a big second story to it. It's a beautiful boat. And when you go on it, folks, they got all John Wayne stuff. All like his pictures are still there, his little artifacts, things that he had to make it his own. And they left a lot of that stuff on there just because that's part of the sale, So John Wayne's big minesweeper. So I've worked on some pretty good sized boats. Oh, I'll tell you the biggest boat I ever worked on. It's a boat, I don't know if anybody's ever even heard of this, but it's called the Queen Mary.
I've worked on
you
that.
heard of that one?
Too. I did a gig
You played
on
music.
That. They have these little, very narrow elevators.
Yes.
And getting your equipment on the elevator, and like they're
a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Well, my brother Phil, who's just coming back from Hawaii right now, he took a cruise with Tony and Phil in Hawaii. They're coming back Saturday, I think. So Phil gets this job through Disneyland, Disney Corporation, to do 120 rooms on the Queen Mary, meaning he did all the bedding, all the upholstered chairs, all the drapes, all that kind of stuff, interior stuff. And they had these padded wall units above the bed that were padded, but like a headboard, but they weren't separate. You had to upholster the wall, and then the bed would go up against it and look like a headboard. So Phil hired me to do 120 rooms on the Queen Mary, and I did every headboard. And a friend of mine, now this was back in the 90s, a friend of mine from Knott's Berry Farm, who's a big boat nut, knows all about the old boats, the old Catalina flyer that used to go back and forth in the 50s and 60s. He knows all about the Queen Mary, all these famous boats. And he took a picture of one of the rooms, and my vinyl, those headboards are still there.
Wow.
Same material, same color, kind of a turquoise looking color. And I said, let me see that. He says, was that it? I said, that's it. They never changed it in 30 years, whatever it's been. Anyway, a little bit of history about me and boat work. I remember one time I was hustling work in Newport Beach, and I went into this yacht broker guy, called me. He called and got my number somewhere, and I had to meet him at his office, and he sold boats that were like 50 feet and above. So they weren't like 200-300 footers, but they were all 60 feet, 75, 50, like that, 90, boats like that, expensive stuff. He had 3 boats he was trying to sell, and he wanted me to spruce them up for him. So I walk into his office, shake his hand, and the first time he met me, he's going to show me the work. And as we're walking down the dock, he says to me, have you ever worked on big boats before? And I said to him, well, unless you got something bigger than the Queen Mary, you're not going to stump me. And he started laughing. We became good friends, and he gave me a whole bunch of work for a lot of years. I did those 3 boats, and after that, he would call me. Fix this, fix it. It was like picking up another account. So we've been having fun. Okay, that's enough me talking about me. Let's talk about you. How many boats have you worked on?
Oh, I want to talk about you.
Well, there's nothing more to say. I'm almost done with this.
Don't
How
worry.
much time has it been?
Don't worry,
now?
I'll make something
Been
up.
28 minutes almost, and perfect.
Okay, we're going to keep going then, because we're here anyway. So, another thing, if anybody wants to know anything about my background, those of you who don't know, I come from a family of 17 children. 1 mom, 1 dad, no twins. I have 11 sisters and 5 brothers. Unfortunately, 2 of my sisters passed away, and one of my brothers, Sonny, who was quite popular here in the La Crescenta, La Cañada area, just passed away last July. And we miss him terribly, but he had a good life, and everything is good. So and I come out here from Boston in 1955 with my dad. And back then, we only had 16 in the family because my baby sister, Ginny, was born in California. But the other 16 of the brothers and sisters were all born right outside, about 3 miles from Boston, a little town called Malden, Mass. I was 11 and a half years old, and I came to California. Probably 6 months after I was here, I started playing guitar, trying to learn to play.
Have you
I picked it
ever
up right away.
Have you ever reupholstered a 55 Chevy?
Please. Yes, 1,000 times.
Okay, those are cool.
You won't get away from me on automobiles. I've recorded all the 50s and 60s
I
and
just
40s.
wanted to-
Well, you see, in 55, I was young, but I was learning the upholstery business through my dad.
Yeah.
And I ended up quitting school very early and went and learned the upholstery business. And I probably opened my first shop when I was like 17, 18. I've been in business my whole life.
So school was only so-so.
School, I hated school. And
That's an upholstery joke.
Well, I didn't even get that. Yeah, school was so-so. I like that. Thank you for waking me up. Anyway, no, I was never big on. I just didn't do good in school. That does. All you kids, if anybody's listening to this, please go to school because I wish I had. I really do. Believe that? Anyway, so Yeah, and so 55. But then life got interesting. As soon as I got into music, for some reason, I just started hanging. I just started meeting people through Mickey Rooney Jr.
Yeah.
His mom was a famous, very famous background singer in Hollywood. She was one of the Anita Kerr singers. She was one of the Gold Diggers on the Dean Martin show.
Oh, okay.
She was, she's on so many credits. She would come home. She was a famous background singer for big artists, like she's on Sinatra's albums. Ray Charles, Jackie Wilson, everybody. All those high background voices,
Yeah.
she's one of them. She was working every date there was to work. She would come home one night. I'll never forget this one story because Mickey and I we were like 14 years old, 15. We're still playing, trying to, we would always get together and try to show each other stuff and learn how to play guitar. And she would come home and tell us about these great sessions that she just. And she comes in one day and she says, "Boys, wait till you hear the track we cut on this Jackie Wilson album tonight." Well, back in those days, they just made 45s. There were no albums. You made a 45. If it hit, then maybe you would do an album.
No, I see.
So, you know what the song was? "Your Love Lifts Me Higher."
Oh, okay.
That was one of his great songs. Great song.
But that was a big hit for someone else, too.
Well, Jackie Wilson did it like nobody else could. I don't know who else did it. But I remember him
Okay.
singing it. Man, could he sing. Wow.
Oh, okay.
So, and then, she would come home and talk about Sinatra. One time she was doing a session with Elvis. Now, this is what she told us. I don't know how true it is. She said, in the studio, Elvis walks in, and she said, his pants look so bad. He was wearing these pants, and she said, and I said to him, "Elvis, you're Elvis. Why are you wearing those pants?" And he said, "You don't like these pants?" He calls one of his boys on his head, gives him the key to the house. He was living up in Doheny Estates back then. He said, "Go home and get me some pants." It's supposed to be a true story. It's the story she told us. She said, that guy comes back 30, 40 minutes later. He goes into the dressing room there, changes his pants, and then they do the session. But everybody, her name was B.J. Baker, and she was married to a guy who was very famous at Disney. He was in on the ground floor when they built Disney in '55. He was working with Walt Disney, and he was the head of the music department, all the theme music, all the movie scores, anything that was music that Disney did was Buddy Baker.
Okay.
And my sister Phyllis and my baby sister Virginia, I call her Ginny, ended up working for Disney years later. And they said there's pictures of Buddy Baker. He's not there. In fact, he passed away, obviously. But there's pictures everywhere. He is well respected. He's like one of the guys.
Okay.
He was very close with Walt Disney. So she was married to him. Her first marriage was to Mickey Rooney,
Okay.
the actor. And she was 17 years old. And she only knew him 2 weeks and they got married.
Now, how many wives did Mickey have?
Mickey had, I think, 9 children. He had, I think, 8 children and 9 wives.
Wow.
And you know what Mickey used to say about that? Because I know because I knew Mickey pretty well.
How did wife number 9 escape unscathed?
I don't know, but anyway, that one tragic story about the one wife that got shot.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh God, terrible story. But anyway, so Mickey Rooney, he was talking to me and Mickey Rooney Jr. one time, and his son, we were doing something. He was around talking to him, and that came up that he'd been married so many times. You know what he said? He said, "Well, at least I believe in marriage." He said, "Because I keep doing it. Every time it doesn't work out, I do it again." And that last lady, he was with Jan, who I'd never met. I think her name was Jan Chamberlain. She actually was a country singer.
Okay.
He was married to her for, I think that was his last wife. And even there, I think at the very end, I think they broke up. But by now he was like 90 or something. And then unfortunately he passed away. But Mickey was a funny guy. One time we're at Mickey's house. He's having a party. Papa, I'm not going on too much, but this is really just to kill time and check the equipment. So we're at a party. Mickey Rooney Jr., Timmy, his brother, Teddy, Kyle, all 8, 9 kids were there. Mickey Rooney's there. It's over in Beverly Hills on Roxford Street, one of those big homes up in the hill there. And Mick's having a party. Well, he runs out of something. I don't know what it was, but he runs out, and he comes to me, and he says, "Will you go to the store with me?" I said, "Sure," you know. And we walk outside, and Mickey Rooney Jr., who's a big, tall kid, it's got his 57 4-speed Chevy hot rod, black 2-door, beautiful Bel Air, parked, and he's got Mickey's car blocked in, the old man's car.
Yeah.
He can't get out. So he runs in and gets the keys from his son, says, "I'll take your car." So I get in. Now he pushes the seat all the way forward. He's like this, trying to get the clutch. It wasn't even an automatic, it's a 4-speed stick, and he's going, "This mother, oh, you." And I'm rolling, and he's like, this.
Now, how's Mickey Jr. so tall?
Because his mom was tall.
Oh, okay.
His mom was not tall, 6 feet, but she was like 5'9" or something. You know, she wasn't short.
Okay.
So he got it from there. But Mickey was so. I mean, we laughed all the way to the market. He's like grinding every gear because he cannot get the clutch to go all. So he's going, "That's close enough." And you hear this big grind as it goes into the next gear, and I'm just totally cracking up. Hey,
Yes.
went to the store and got our stuff
Like,
and went home.
you know, our friend Pam Lowe,
I love
her,
Pam.
her son was a professional
Absolutely.
baseball player.
They used to call him Halo, Low something.
Uh,
They had a nickname for him.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But anyway, his dad was Dave Lowe.
I knew Dave very
who
well.
was also very tall.
Yes.
And Pam is very tall.
Hmm.
But their son, like, towers over them.
Well, the two
Make-
together.
It makes them look short.
Yeah,
Really?
really.
I've seen him.
Kalo.
Oh, yeah, something like
I
that.
think- I
oh,
think
no,
it-
his name's Cameron.
Yes, and so his professional name was Kalo.
Okay.
You know,
So-
when
so
he
anyway,
played
like-
ball.
Both his mom and dad are really tall.
Yes.
And,
And
but
he got even
he's
taller.
way up there.
Well, I knew Dave Lowe very well years ago when Paul was playing bass in his band quite a bit, and I became friends with him and Paul. But I knew him before I knew Pam, and they played a lot of kind of blues. He was more of a rock blues player, I think, than country. Am I wrong about that?
He comes from, yeah, well,
Yeah. Well,
it's hard to say.
that's what I remember.
He did a lot of country music, but he was like, had a real background in like hippie music.
Hippie.
Yeah, the 60s.
Well, I don't know what hippie music. I mean, I've hippies. Yeah.
You
That was
know,
right after the beatniks.
60s music.
Yeah. But anyway, Dave was a great player
Yeah.
and a good singer.
He is a really good singer.
Yep, good
His-
singer, good
his
player.
kind of
I was-
his signature song that we used to have him do all the time was Rainy Night in Georgia.
Oh.
And he sang the hell out of
that's
it.
kind of bluesy.
Yeah.
You know, that's not really country, right? That's kind of,
Yeah.
Rainy Night in Georgia, that's a good song.
Yeah, well,
I wish I could sing that song. Maybe I'm gonna learn that. Huh?
he used to sing the hell out of it.
Well, he always treated me nice. I used to love that guy. He would always let me play. If I walked in the club and he was working, he'd say, "Get your stuff." You know, like I could get up and play. He
Oh,
did.
okay.
And he was also this kind of guy too. So some guys they'll let you get up and play like 2 songs and then they
Yeah.
walk you off. Hey, how about give Carmine a nice hand? Thank you, and they kick you. Dave, man, when I got up, if I got up at 10 after 9, I was there till 1:45.
Well, not me.
I'd play the whole night.
Not me.
I used to
I-
love to do that.
I'm not like a sit-in guy. I don't really like that.
Yeah.
But sometimes people ask me, and I don't want to hang around long. So I'm telling, well, I'm leaving in a little while, so that they get me up right away, and then I can leave. I'm not big on sitting in with bands. And you know
Well-
what? I'll tell you. You know, in my entire career, if you can call it that, I have never gotten a gig by sitting in with a band. I don't think it's ever happened.
Well, you know why, don't you?
Because I'm no good.
No, yeah, well, because I heard you play.
Yeah. No,
You should have kept your mouth
it's
shut
kind of the same
and just
thing.
get the gig. You know,
No,
at least you would
really.
have had one gig.
Really, man, people tell you that, well, you want to get a gig, yeah, go sit in with some people, and, you know, when they hear you, they'll like you, probably, and then when a gig comes up,
But-
I'll call you.
So you don't think
I don't
you,
think
you don't think you ever got one gig?
I
So
don't-
how'd you get your gigs?
Just
Because
people.
I got a million gigs that way.
I have gotten a lot of gigs by getting hired as a sub.
Oh,
and,
then
then
they add you to their
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
Yeah.
But just sitting in, playing 2 or 3
Well,
songs.
If I was only working somewhere like 2 nights a week, the other 4 nights I was out jamming and playing, and Johnny Blankenship was so good to me. Tony Booth at the Palomino Club. Now listen, folks. When I tell you this kind of a story, it has nothing to do with my playing ability, because I hung around with such great players. My hat goes off to these people big time. But I would walk in with Al Bruno at the Palomino, the Tony Booth band, and Tony would invite me to play. And when he would invite me to play, once I got up, I finished the night. Like I said, I wouldn't do 2 or 3 songs, and then he would say, "Okay, thank you." It's like, no, you can play. Jerry Cole, he and I were very good friends, and he worked the Pal quite a bit in the house band. Often he would sub and stuff. As soon as I walk in, oh, Jerry Cole, get your stuff, man. Now, this has nothing to do with my playing ability. I think it was more that I would kind of stay out of the way, and they knew I wanted to learn, and they knew I respected them, and so I didn't step on their turf. You know what I'm saying? I didn't play too loud, and so I was really blessed, because Jimmy Bryant would do the same thing,
okay.
and these are great players, you know.
Speaking of great players, we got to get Albert
Yes,
and JD
yes,
here at the same time.
yes,
And Albert's he's 80 now, right?
I know he is.
80 years old.
I'm going
We
to
gotta
be 80 in 2 months, in June.
We got to be.
Now,
Gotta
Albert's
get-
already done our show, folks, if you look in the back. He's done it like 4 times already. He's
Yeah,
done
well,
it
we'll get
once
Albert
a year.
here and JD at the same time. And
Yes,
Yeah.
well, you remember the big parties I would always have, my birthday parties?
for that, I can actually do a 4-camera shoot.
Oh, you want to really do it good.
Yeah, for
Okay.
the YouTube, I can actually do a 4-camera shoot.
Well, every year since the Crest, when I was with Don McGinnis and I started having my birthday parties, my family had come down and I started inviting friends. Albert Lee, he comes to all my birthday if he's in town. If he's not in town, fine. But when I call him, if he's in town, he's played all my birthday parties every year. And I'm having one this year. It's going to be the closest Sunday to June 29th. And I think that would be on June 30th, I believe. And we got a big patio out here in front, here at the car lot where I do our show. And so I'm going to set up some food and do a thing, invite Albert if he's in town. JD will come up. Just all my friends, Jerry Mendelsohn, everybody. Everybody and anybody. We'll have a big party. We might do a 2-hour special show that week, Kim. That might be fun, And I might set up 2 bands. Well, we might have stuff out there so we can kind of play and jam for the folks while we're eating, and then we'll come in here.
So
Everybody grab it, because then for 2 hours, it's not just going to be us. We're going to run people through, like
So-
Albert will get up,
okay.
and Jerry McCoy, just all the musician
Okay.
guys.
So am I going to be in the band outside?
No, you're going to be serving the pizza.
I don't get to come in the big house. And,
No, you stay in the
Be
patio.
out there, like in the sun.
Well,
in
when we're all
July.
on the patio,
In July.
when we're all on the patio, I want you in here getting
Yeah.
stuff ready. As soon as everything's ready, then I want you on the patio.
Okay, I'll be in your winding up tables. The rest of you are out there eating free food.
No,
and
but we'll have a
drinks.
lot of fun. Didn't you come to Viva Cantina all those years that I had those parties? The big parties? Did you ever come
No.
down? What's the matter with you? How come you weren't
How
there?
much time have you got?
Well, how much, speaking of time, how we doing?
We've been on 45 minutes.
45 minutes, 44 minutes.
I think it's fine.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Dan figured it out.
Well, we just narrowed it down.
Well, folks, hope we didn't bore you to death. I'm not going to give you more than 45 minutes of this. We never sang a song. We never did anything. And, but we love you all. Keep watching the show. Have a good Easter, everybody. Have a great day. And then the following week, I think I'm back doing the show. What's the date the following week after Easter, honey?
Well,
That's the 7th, I believe, and we're not going to be here because Susan's birthday.
So we're taking 2 weeks off then.
Yeah.
Dad, folks, I'm sorry, but you know what we might do a middle of the week thing. I'll get Tom and Gary, and we'll grab some acoustics, and we'll just have a little bit of fun. Just watch. We'll, you know, if all this equipment works right, maybe we'll do like Wednesday nights or something for a couple of weeks. You know. Okay, we're gonna check out. Thanks for listening to all our stuff.
well,
And
seems to have worked.
All right, and video.
seems to have worked. I'm gonna.